Welcome to our Trump briefing program. In today's news, we see the Trump administration moving forward with the deportation of hundreds of Venezuelan migrants, even after a federal judge issued a temporary halt. This controversial action has sparked legal scrutiny and raised questions about the administration's interpretation of wartime laws. In other headlines, Iran is firmly denying any involvement with Yemen's Houthi rebels following a series of U.S. airstrikes that resulted in significant casualties. The tension continues to escalate as accusations fly between the US and Iran, with both sides standing their ground amidst the chaos. Lastly, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney is eager to connect with President Trump, showing respect for his economic initiatives while aiming to bolster Canada's own economy. As Carney embarks on his first foreign trip, the focus remains on strengthening ties with the US amid looming trade challenges. Please stay tuned for more detailed coverage. The Toronto Star reports that the Trump administration has controversially deported hundreds of migrants to El Salvador, despite a federal judge's order halting such actions. U.S. District Judge James E. Boasberg had issued a temporary restraining order against the deportations, which were based on the Alien Enemies Act of 1798, a law rarely invoked in modern times. While two planes were already en route to El Salvador and Honduras at the time of the ruling, the administration proceeded with the deportations, leading to a backlash from organizations like the ACLU. The Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele, aligned with Trump, agreed to house the deported migrants in his country's prisons at a significant cost, while the legality of the deportations continues to be questioned. In a separate report, the Associated Press highlights Iran's denial of involvement in aiding Yemen's Houthi rebels following U.S. airstrikes that killed at least 31 people, including women and children. Tensions have escalated as the Houthis, who have been targeting international shipping in the Red Sea, resumed attacks in solidarity with Palestinians amidst the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict. Trump's national security advisor confirmed that the strikes specifically targeted Houthi leaders, marking one of the most extensive U.S. operations against the group since the Gaza war began. Iran's Revolutionary Guard dismissed allegations of military support for the Houthis, while Trump vowed to use overwhelming lethal force to protect maritime interests. Finally, the Toronto Star details Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney's intention to establish a dialogue with President Trump as he assumes leadership. Canada's ambassador to the U.S., Kirsten Hillman, emphasized Carney's eagerness to build a strong relationship with Trump, acknowledging the importance of aligning economic goals. As Carney prepares for his first international trip to France and the UK, he aims to discuss security and trade ties, while also addressing potential tariffs that could impact Canada. Although a visit to the U.S. is not currently planned, both leaders are expected to connect soon to navigate the complexities of bilateral relations. Deutsche Welle reports that Ukraine's position in U.S. foreign policy has diminished significantly under President Donald Trump, who appears to be prioritizing relations with Taiwan and Israel over support for Ukraine. Amid various domestic and international crises, including trade wars and protests, Trump's administration has shown a lack of commitment to Ukraine, raising concerns about its future amidst the ongoing conflict with Russia. In a Fox News interview, Trump suggested that Ukraine may not survive the war, reflecting a grim outlook. Marco Rubio, the new Secretary of State, echoed this sentiment, emphasizing that U.S. interests would take precedence over Ukraine's security, which many analysts believe could lead to Ukraine being treated as a mere pawn in U.S.-Russia negotiations. Al Jazeera highlights the drastic measures taken by President Trump against Voice of America, VOA, leading to nearly all staff members being placed on administrative leave after he signed an executive order aimed at reducing government agencies, including the U.S. Agency for Global Media. This decision has drawn criticism from press advocacy groups, who argue it undermines press freedom and the historical commitment to a free flow of information. Michael Abramovitz, the VOA director, expressed deep sorrow over the silencing of the agency, which has played a crucial role in promoting democracy and providing balanced news globally. The move is seen as part of a broader Republican narrative that accuses publicly funded media of bias, raising concerns about the future of independent journalism in the U.S. The South China Morning Post reports on a controversial deportation order issued by President Trump, invoking the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to expel over 200 alleged members of a Venezuelan gang to El Salvador. This wartime authority, rarely used in modern times, has sparked legal challenges from civil rights groups who argue it should not apply in peacetime. Despite a temporary suspension from a federal judge, the deportation of gang members, including leaders of MS-13, proceeded, with El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele welcoming the transfer. The U.S. government has framed the gang as engaged in warfare against the U.S., but the legality and implications of using such an old law have raised significant concerns both domestically and internationally, with Venezuela condemning the actions as a violation of human rights. The Independent reports on the potential fallout from President Trump's proposed 200% tariffs on wine and spirits imported from the EU, a move that has sent shockwaves through the wine industry. The threat comes amidst escalating trade tensions, with Trump labeling the EU as a hostile entity aimed at exploiting the United States. This tariff could devastate American consumers and producers alike, as over 80% of wine imports in the US come from Europe, particularly France and Italy. The article draws parallels with the consequences faced by Australian wine producers after China imposed similar tariffs, highlighting the precarious nature of international trade and the potential for Trump's actions to backfire on American businesses, including his own ventures. In a separate report by BBC, the U.S. government's controversial deportation of over 200 Venezuelans to El Salvador has raised eyebrows, particularly as it defies a federal judge's order that aimed to halt such actions. The deportees, many linked to notorious gangs, were swiftly transferred to a confinement center upon arrival, with El Salvador's President Nayib Bukele mocking the situation on social media. This incident underscores the ongoing tensions surrounding immigration policy under the Trump administration, as the government navigates legal challenges while attempting to enforce its hardline stance against perceived threats to national security. CNN explores the implications of the weakening of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, CFPB, under the Trump administration, which was established to protect consumers from predatory lending practices following the 2008 financial crisis. Despite concerns that the rollback of the CFPB's powers could lead to a resurgence of risky lending, experts maintain that current regulations are more robust than before the crisis. However, the diminishing oversight raises alarms about potential abuses by financial institutions, as the CFPB's role in safeguarding consumer interests is compromised. With the agency's operations in disarray, the article emphasizes the need for individuals to be vigilant and proactive in protecting themselves against unfair financial practices. South China Morning Post reports that China is poised to reshape its Arctic ambitions in light of increasing scrutiny from Arctic nations and the potential for a US-Russia cooperation deal. Initially, China aimed to assert itself as a near-Arctic state with its Polar Silk Road initiative, but this has been met with skepticism from the US and its allies, particularly as Russia seeks to maintain its sovereignty in the region. Experts note a shift in China's approach, emphasizing scientific diplomacy and icebreaker development while downplaying its previous assertiveness. Despite this, some analysts argue that China remains interested in Arctic opportunities, particularly in science and commerce, as evidenced by its investments in heavy icebreakers and recent oil discoveries in Norwegian waters. However, the deepening ties between Russia and the US could complicate China's position, especially if a deal between the two countries excludes China from Arctic affairs. The Arctic Council's functionality is also in question, posing risks for China in establishing partnerships and participating in regional governance. As geopolitical dynamics shift, experts highlight the uncertainty surrounding China's future role in the Arctic, emphasizing the need for strategic reconsideration within Beijing. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Great dragon wakes ancient streets, leading change with modern beats. Cities rise and towers peak, new dawn breaking, bold and sleek. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all in play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the cars marching strong with mighty force. Whoa. New era, new wave, fast-paced day, history made in full display. Politicians make their plea, voices and peace. Ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew. Nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west and knowledge door. Complex world they navigate. China's power demonstrates. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all the play. Future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the course. Marching strong with mighty force. New era, new way, fast-paced day. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea. Voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace. Ambitions, their growth and peace. New era, new way, fast-paced day. History made in bold display. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea. Voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace. Ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew. Nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore. East meets west and north.